Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Two news stories was only. First story is about a warning by a senior Ethiopian military officer, serving military officer, a lieutenant general. He's warning against coup to topple Ethiopian PM Abiy's government. Who is this man? Who is he warning? Because coups are staged by militaries most of the time. Did he warn the military? Did he warn armed groups? Did he warn politicians? I want to analyze the statement of this channel, which is very significant, I believe. Secondly, viewers, at last, peace deal, ceasefire deal has been signed by Israel and Hamas. Talks have been ongoing in Qatar for months. 5 countries were part of the negotiations, reportedly. What happened? What are the main points of this deal? We'll have a detailed look at Israel Hamas ceasefire deal. But let's start, viewers, from Ethiopia. First news story is about warning by an Ethiopian general to those who want to topple the Ethiopian PM Abiy's government. By the way, Ethiopian PM also mentioned coup when he addressed a parliament gathering a few months ago. And in the past, too, he said that his government has built a system which is foolproof against coups. Coups cannot be successful in Ethiopia. He's been mentioning the Republican Guards too, that his government has successfully established a force to stop coups, and that is Republican Guards, directly under PM Abiy. Republican Guard is answerable to Ethiopian PM Abiy directly. So it's not under Jula's control. So if anyone from military wants to stage a coup, they cannot do that because the Prime Minister, PM office, Parliament, all being protected by Republican guards. What did this general say? Who is this man and why was there need for such a talk? Obviously, something is happening. That is why the man had to speak. His name is Alim Defe. He's a lieutenant general. He's advisor to Birhano Jula, Ethiopian military chief. So you can say he's the main man. He's the one who is in charge of making policies too, and he's the one who knows what military is doing, what military intends to do, because he is working in one of the senior most positions in the Ethiopian National Defense Force. What did he say? He said, don't think about a coup. He said that military's job is to protect the constitutional system. The system which is put in place after an election. Military works under the system, the government, which takes office after the election. And if anyone tries to stage a coup, that will lead to chaos, that will lead to destruction of the country. Importantly, most important point which he mentioned was about the election. He said, if people fail in the election, or if they say that they don't like the election and then they try to seize power by force or by armed movement, that won't be allowed. This part of his speech is meaningful. What is he saying? He is saying that the results of the election will have to be accepted by the political parties. He's saying that those who boycott the election and they think that they can come to power by toppling the government, it won't happen. The question, viewers, is who is he addressing? Definitely he addressed someone. This statement definitely came in the background of something which is happening in Ethiopia. Did he address Fano? Did he address Ola? Did he address Tigray fighters? I don't think that Janel Alemshet addressed any armed groups. Armed groups clearly say that they want to topple the government and military is fighting them. The military is already fighting them. There's no need for the military to tell the armed group that you won't be allowed to take over the government. Military is already trying to crush them. Military fighting Fano, military fighting Ola, military fought Tigray fighters. Nothing to disclose, nothing to war. Military is already telling them that we'll crush you. We won't let you topple the government. So this message is definitely not for the armed groups. Is this message for the elements in the military? I don't think so. I don't think that the Ethiopian military would acknowledge, though indirectly, that some elements in the military are plotting a coup. No. This message is not for any elements which could consider staging a coup, and the elements are part of the military. No. What is this message about? Who is this for? Well, this message, I think, is for politicians, political parties. That those politicians, those political parties, those organizations which think that they can topple the government by mobilizing people, by creating a conflict, they won't be allowed to destabilize the government. Who is trying to create a conflict? Who is trying to create an upheaval in the country? Well, one man is busy in social media, and that is Joar. Second man is returning to Ethiopia. Did a video on that 2 days ago. Seasoned Ethiopian politician, founder of Ethiopian Democratic Party, Lidito returning to Ethiopia. There could be other politicians too. By the way, Lidito believes in peaceful struggle, and he said in his letter that he will try to reorganize EPP, EDP, or he'll work with other parties, or he'll work as an individual. Joar is definitely trying to create an upheaval. He is all day, he's busy sharing videos, pictures, showing forces, militias committing atrocities against the people. He's definitely trying to fuel a conflict, and he wants to cash in on this conflict. He wants to ensure his safe return to Ethiopia. I believe Alemshet's message is for Joar and others who think that they can mobilize the people, take to the streets, and topple the government or force the government to come to its knees. Now, I just want to raise one point. Uh, let's hope that the channel will respond or someone will respond. He's saying that military's job is to work under a political party, a government which has been elected through an election. Question is, if election is not fair, what is military's role? If military knows that election is not fair, that ruling party is not allowing opposition parties to conduct political activities, that opposition politicians are not being allowed to be part of the election, that level playing field is not being given by the ruling party to the opposition, what is the role of the military? Should it just watch like a spectator and wait for the ruling party to steal the election? I am not saying that the military should rebel, it should seize power, but this is what military should think about. It should think about it and hold internal discussions. Yes, some top men in power could be beneficiaries of being supporters of prosperity party, but military as an institution will have to take a position. It cannot stay aloof. I mean, if it knows that a government is conducting unfair election, not transparent election, at least military can play a role that the election being held is transparent. It should not take any sides. It should be neutral. He said, Alim Shah, the military is neutral. Being neutral does not mean that military should allow one party, one man to steal the election. Being neutral means that the military should ensure that the election is held in a transparent manner. So can Alam Shah guarantee that election will be transparent, neutral, fair at the end of this year, next year? This is the question. I don't know what military's official position is, but Alam Shah's talk was definitely directed at Ethiopian opposition politicians who want to start a political movement, which is their right. They don't want to topple the government. They want election, free, fair, transparent election. Yes, they'll have to create an upheaval in the country. They won't be allowed to return to the country by Ethiopian government, by prosperity party government. They'll have to use force, political force. I am not saying they should pick up arms and start an armed struggle, but they have every right to use the political power to force the government to come to the table so that the parties agree on how to hold transparent election for a legitimate government to take office, which military will be working under. This is what military should say, I think. Secondly, viewers, at last, Israel and Hamas have signed ceasefire deal. In Qatar, negotiations have been ongoing for months. I think when the war broke out, immediately after that, negotiation started in Qatar, but negotiations went through several phases. 5 countries were part of the negotiations, reportedly 5 parties rather. Israel, Hamas, Qatar, US, and Egypt. Uh, Joe Biden representative was there at the talks, and Donald Trump representative also attended the talks. It means that Republican government, which will take office after a few days, will also support this ceasefire deal because its representative, Trump representative, was part of discussions. What happened in the last 15 months, before having a look at the ceasefire deal? What happened in the last 15 months? 46,000 Palestinians were killed. 1,200 Israelis killed. 250 Israelis and foreigners were taken hostage or kidnapped in October 2023 by Hamas. 90% of the structures in Gaza destroyed. 68% of roads destroyed. There is zero fuel reserve now in Gaza. Schools, hospitals, everything destroyed. 1.9 million people displaced. This is what happened. Gaza is like a graveyard. It's a devastated area, a humanitarian catastrophe ongoing there for 15 months, you can say. It has been under siege. At last, partitions prevailed and the two sides signed ceasefire deal. 1,000 Palestinians will be released by Israel under this deal. 33 hostages taken hostage in October 2023 will be released by Hamas. And after the end of this first phase of the ceasefire, talks will again start about the next phase of the deal. Israeli military will withdraw from Gaza, but not fully. It will maintain a buffer zone inside Gaza. So more details are coming out gradually. It's good to see, by the way, that at last a deadly war is coming to an end. By the way, what did Hamas achieve from this war? Because Hamas attacked Israel. Hamas carried out that attack to kidnap people across Gaza fence. Now, what did Hamas achieve? Its leaders killed Ismail Hania, Yahya Sinwar, killed Hassan Nasrallah, Lebanon, killed, and 46,000 Palestinians killed. So, what did Hamas achieve from this war? Israel, bigger power, used force in a brutal manner. People died, civilians died, children died. It indiscriminately killed people in Gaza. But it won't be held accountable because it is backing of strong players in international politics, US, Western powers. Thanks for watching.